Everybody, it's Kyle Jetzel, your driven autism dad. Today, I want to tell you about a conversation I had yesterday. I was on a coaching call with a mom who has a son on the spectrum. And as she described some of the challenges she was facing, she was getting aggravated. And you could tell, and I could tell. And it was interesting to me, and it reminded me of when I was checked by a friend who basically had talked to me about how I had become bitter and mean and angry because of all the advocating and the fighting for my kids' rights. But it was interesting as I talked to this lady, and we started to come to some. We started to create some strategies that were going to help her solve some of these issues. Um, she started out pretty frustrated and angry, and you could tell in her voice, and you could tell by the way she was talking. And as we started to create the strategies and come up with ideas for her, a plan basically to change the way she managed those situations. You could see her almost soften. I could see her start to soften, and I could see the love that she had in her kids in her eyes. And she actually, as we were finishing up, you could tell she was filled with hope, and she was excited about what she was going to try. And I can't wait to check in with her. I'll probably check in with her in a couple of days, but I can't wait to. The stuff we're talking about is proven strategies too. So if she can do her part and follow these tactics in a spirit of love, then I think she's going to have great success. But she could feel it too. And we kind of got on this conversation of how when we're angry or frustrated or discouraged, those emotions bleed into our families. And hopefully, I want you to know I'm saying this in a spirit of love, because I know that it's easy to do. It's easy to fall into the trap of facing these challenges and getting angry or discouraged or frustrated with ourselves and our kids and the situation, and stress levels going through the roof. And it reminded me very, very clearly of something my wife had said. And she had written this down, and we had talked about this. And she had said to me at one point, uh, when the mood is good, it doesn't matter what's happening in our homes, everything's going to be okay. But when the mood is bad, it's all going to go to crap, no matter what's happening. And she expressed to me, my wife, she said, I'm very distinctly clear on who sets the mood in our home. This was my wife talking to me. And I said, really, who's that? And she said, I do. I set the mood. She said, if I can do things in the spirit of love, if I can keep myself away from the bitterness and the frustration and the anger, which is natural again, I know that I can bleed love and kindness and happiness into my kids. And that's what I really want to do. And she had worked hard at this. My wife had created some of her own strategies so that she could set the mood for not only for herself, but for our kids. And she had to work at it. I promise you, when you've got 6 kids and 2 of them are in the autism spectrum, one more severe, one, level 2, one's an introvert, one's an extrovert, and they're always combating each other. And just raising kids itself can be very difficult, not just kids on the spectrum, but typical kids can be very tricky as well. So, she could have been overwhelmed. She could have been frustrated. She could have been aggravated. And remember, 5 of my 6 kids are boys. and and I've always believed, and this maybe just is because boys are feral when they're little. They're crazy little animals, and it's just who they are. It's not because they're bad. But my wife had come to some conclusions and shared with me how she knew that when she was bitter or frustrated or angry or discouraged or, any of those negative emotions, it bled into our kids and it created the wrong mood. So hopefully I'm telling you this in a spirit of love. If you find yourself in those situations, create strategies for yourself to overcome the frustration or the anger, the discouragement. And if you don't think it's possible, I'm going to put at the very bottom of this video in my description, I will put a link to a free Autism Parenting 101 training I did a few weeks ago. And you'll see how we can address these things. And, these are some things my wife and I had created in our family that took us from barely surviving and in peril and stressed out. And my wife and I our relationship was in trouble, and my kids' relationship with me was in trouble too, thriving in the chaos of raising these kids on the spectrum. And it is chaos sometimes, but we can thrive. So hopefully that doesn't offend you too bad. If it does, that wasn't my intention. My intention was to just to share the information that we learned, and hopefully you can apply it. So have a great day. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.